Next one, mobility and flexibility. The insurgent must develop intelligent and guileful flexibility in planning, conducting, and overseeing actions so as to retain initiative, suffer the least damage, and yet keep the opponent guessing and in a prolonged state of readiness and uncertainty. So that's what the insurgent has to do. They got to be super flexible. They got to keep you guessing and keep you in a prolonged state of readiness. That sounds good, right? Prolonged state of readiness. That sounds good, but it's actually not good. When you're constantly on edge, that's what wears people down. It breaks them down over time. But where we failed was we did not exhibit enough flexibility in our strategic and tactical plans and their guileful execution. We had to seize the initiative and pose challenges to the LTTE, which we largely failed to do. So you know, mobility, flexibility, something we talk about all the time on this podcast is having the ability to adapt and be flexible. And, you know, whether it's working out in a hotel room, whether it's, you know, finding something good to eat or not eating because there is nothing good to eat, whether it's being in a leadership situation and you're adapting to a personality that is awkward or different or you're not ready for, or a situation that needs to be overcome, that's flexibility and mobility, and you have to maintain that. Motivation and discipline. In prolonged, slow, bleeding, low-intensity, people-oriented struggle, motivation and discipline as ingredients of morale are far more important. The LTTE and the people had both these to a remarkable degree. The IPKF's discipline was as good as any army's, even the LTTE's, but its motivation was limited to the spirit of professionalism only. We were soldiers. We did as ordered. So the LTTE had this passionate goal that they were going after, and that encouraged their discipline. They understood why they were doing what they were doing, and that's something. They had that clear goal. They understood, why are we doing this? Because we want our own state. Now, did the IPKF know why they were doing what they were doing? No, they did not. He just talked about that. He just talked about how they didn't know what their goal was. They didn't know how it was going to affect. They didn't even know what their end state was supposed to be. So when you take that away from them, even though they're disciplined troops, they miss that last level. And that's why. Why are you doing this? And that is why it's so important for you as you try and reach your goals, as you try and get something done, you keep that in mind of why you're doing this. What's the end state going to be? Because it's so easy to lose track of the end state. I mean, if you're trying to gain 25 pounds of muscle, I mean, that's going to take you a couple years possibly. If you're trying to make $1 million, that may take you 10 years, might take you 6 years. That's a long ways. And there's a lot of little distractions that can come along the way.
Yeah. And to your point, consider why. Why do you want to gain 25 pounds? We'll say losing weight, right? So it's let's say you have a photo shoot or you're going on spring break or something like that.
Yeah, you know, let me just think of all the big photo shoots that had to drop weight. Wait, that's never happened. Right. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about you're trying to lose weight because you're trying to be healthy.
Right.
That's a long-term goal that's realistic.
Yes. Yeah, and whatever that means, right? Healthy. Or what if you're a healthy person already, but you just want to, I don't know, look better or achieve something.
How about you've got a jiu-jitsu tournament coming up and you got to drop some weight?
Right. Cut some weight. Right. Exactly. So it makes it so much easier to cut. I mean, for the most part.
When you have a specific goal.
Yes. So you got a fight coming up. That guy's going to cut that weight way quick. You hear these guys cutting all this weight. Like, oh, yeah, he has a fight in a month and a half and he got to cut 40 pounds. And then he'll do it.
Yep.
Because, I mean, obviously these are trained athletes as well, but that goal and understanding it, man, helps so much.
Yep. Especially when, I'm going to read this part again, and again, we talk about when you're trying to get stuff done as a person, it's a prolonged, slow, bleeding, low-intensity, people-oriented struggle. That's what it is. That's what you're up against.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're up against. It's a low, anything that's worth achieving as a person, it takes all those. It's long, it's slow, there's nothing you go, oh, this is going to be the ultimate achievement of my life and it's going to take you 15 minutes to do. No.
Yeah.
It's going to take you months and months and months and years of effort, of blood, sweat, and tears to get there.